Ian, it's election year, both for the general election in this country, but also for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. There are local elections in South England and for the world church. Elections are always a difficult time because they bring up the tensions, the politics comes in, who's right, who's wrong. What kind of take do you take as a presidential leader? What advice do you give me when I go to the polling booth or go to one of these church sessions?
Well, one of the things that I tire of in politics, and I'm not talking about church politics, but it could well go for that, but in the politics of our nation, is how when leaders are debating or politicians are debating, they debate from the basis of, well, you know, when you were in power, you did everything wrong. When we were in power, we did everything right. Or the only reason why we're struggling is because of the mistakes you made of your past. And I think that, I don't know, I find that personally a turn off, because somewhere I can't see anybody being 100% correct and the other party being 100% wrong. And I think that somewhere in there is truth, and there actually is a meeting of actually where there is an accuracy and a coming together. And I think within the church as well, we need to be able to listen more and not always be in a position where we're trying to defend what we believe our position of rightness is. I just sense that within politics, in the nation, and I would say within the church, I think we could do with a little bit more listening strengths.
So with the nation, with May the 7th and polling day, you're a Christian, you're listening to these various politicians, you're listening to the debates, you're reading the newspapers and all the masses of commentary that is out there. How on earth are you going to come to a decision as to who you should vote for? Or should you even bother voting at all?
Well, I think it's important to vote. You know, we have that right. We have an opportunity to express. But one of the things that has come to me of recent times of how I should vote is that I came to a realization that a lot of my voting patterns have been in and out of self-interest, and I might even say selfishness. In other words, I vote for the party which I believe will do me, Ian Sweeney, the best. And I suspect that a lot of us who vote, we do vote in a self-interested manner. And reading the scriptures, sometimes I'm seeing that it isn't always about what is in my interest, but what about the interests of generations to come. And so I'm very much thinking, well, and I know that the politicians do not go to the electorate and say, look, you know, vote for us and, you know, the country will be a better place in 30, 40, 50 years' time. Now, the scriptures often talk about future generations and how they will benefit from the decisions we make today. And I'm just thinking that, you know, I need to be less self-interested and, let me say, selfish, and think about, well, actually, which party is actually looking out for the interests of my grandchildren and great-grandchildren? Yes, we are looking for the Lord to come, but we have a responsibility beyond our lifetime.
So when the doorbell rings and you open it and find a politician on your doorstep, it's the one chance you get to talk to them. What kind of questions are you asking that whatever party it is, you want to see to make Britain a better place?
I suppose the questions that I'm interested in is, you know, what is it within your policies that are going to make for a better society and a better community for us all to live and coexist in? And for some parties, there seems to be more, well, if you keep a certain kinds of people away from the community or stop them coming into the country, our country will be a better place. Is that really true or not? I'm just looking for parties that, I'm looking for policies that really are about respecting other people, that are dealing with the quality of life, that people can live in a better society, in a better community. That's the kind of things I'm asking about.
Is that then exactly the same in July when you go to San Antonio and the Seventh-day Adventist Church has its world convention and elects the leadership for the next 5 years, and then shortly after that you are chairing a nominating committee for the South England Conference and selecting leadership on a more local level. Are those the kinds of questions you're asking there?
Yes, in the sense that I think that unity, moving together is a key important of what it is of the Christian message. You know, by this Christ said, men will know that you are my disciples by the way that we love one another. And at the General Conference session in July, there's going to be some major issues discussed there, you know, chief among which will be whether we are to ordain females as pastors. To me, the greater issue than even that issue is whether we come out of this session as a united church, and how do we display to a world that we can have strong beliefs and convictions, but yet also move forward together unitedly. You know, I compare it like to marriage. My wife and I do not agree on every issue, and yet we are in a marriage where there is happiness, there is joy, and there is unity and a oneness of purpose. I would like to see that we can also display the same in the church. Now that is very tough, but it's about a conscious decision to make that happen.
But that is the challenge, isn't it? Because as Bible-believing Christians, we read the scriptures and we sometimes see it in different ways. And if only you would see it the way I see it, we would be a united church. So I'm just praying for you to change your mind and we'll be fine. Isn't that perhaps the danger that may happen?
It is, but you see, I think we're going to have to move to a different understanding of unity and moving together as oneness and moving together as a one people. We are not going to be able to agree on everything. That is just an impossibility. But we can make a conscious decision to say, we're going to move together as one, even though we disagree on particular issues. We have to make that choice. We have to make that decision. I am trying to make that decision each and every day in and out of things that are coming up in San Antonio. But it can be done. It can be done.
And I guess both for the general election and for the church election, it is something that we should both personally and with our members be encouraging to make a matter of prayer and careful thought.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, the United Kingdom right now is coming out of a coalition type government. The electorate was very much split. And the problem sometimes with voting is that it can become very partisan, and so it's got sides. But the reality is for the United Kingdom to work, for any country to work in and out of elections, it isn't simply about winners and losers. It is also about cooperation, that we all are agreed, how can we make our country, our society, our community better places to live in. So in my local community, I may be the only Seventh-day Adventist who lives on my street, and there are Muslims and there are atheists, there are agnostics and what have you. But our commitment together as a neighborhood, and so we have neighborhood watch schemes and all of that thing, but our commitment as a neighborhood is to say, all right, how can we work together for the overriding purpose of making our community a better place?